Hey guys, it's Tom. Sorry if you couldn't see the reflection of the ring light. I got new glasses. So this is a bit of a different video for this channel because I got to do something different. Something I've never done before, and that was getting to see all 5 of the animated short films nominated at this year's Academy Awards. Thanks to a theater called the Angelica Film Center, I was able to see them before the awards ceremony, which will happen in a few days as of this video. I originally had no plan to see them because I thought I had no way to see them. All but one of them are not available to watch online or streaming, and so I thought I would just have to watch the awards ceremony without having seen any of them. No big deal, I'd done it before. However, an interesting turn of events led me to seeing them, which I'll explain. I originally wanted to go see this recent film from Japan called Perfect Days, which is also nominated at the Academy Awards this year for Best Foreign Language Film. I'd heard such good things about it, and I found the nearest place that was playing it was the Angelica. The showtime was in the late afternoon, and coincidentally, in that same theater, in the same auditorium in fact, was a showing of all 5 of the nominated animated short films. Even though I wasn't terribly interested in watching them, since again, I had no way to watch them, I decided that I would show up to that theater early and buy a ticket and watch them before the movie started. Why not, you know? Short films matter too, and support local cinemas. And I figured that instead of just posting about it on Facebook or Instagram, why not make a video going through each one of them to tell everyone about them and maybe even rank them to give my pick on which one might win. Plus, there actually was 1 or 2 of them that I was interested in seeing, but I'll get to those. For now, here are all 5 of the 2024 Oscar-nominated Best Animated Short Films. The first short film is from Iran called Our Uniform, which is actually the shortest of all the films nominated, running about 7 minutes. The narrator is an Iranian woman looking back on her schoolgirl days and the uniforms that the girls had to wear at her all-girls school to hide their hair. She talks about how she loves to travel now that she's older because of its freedom. She feels like she can do anything and, better yet, wear anything. The way that this film is presented is so wonderfully creative because instead of using like traditional flat backgrounds for the settings and characters to then be placed on, according to the description provided for the short film, it's actually the wrinkles and fabrics of her old uniform. Having the whole short film be on pieces of clothing creates a rich texture for everything else to play around with. For example, the school bus going around buttons as if they're objects on the road or through a patch like it's a tunnel. This kind of presentation really stands out, not just for its unique look, but also because there isn't like a narrative here. Sure, the narrator is telling us about her upbringing with these uniforms, which are literally the setting for all this, but that's about it. I wouldn't say that there's really a message to take away from all of this. It's simply a really good presentation of a time in someone's life. It was a short but cool way to start the short films. Up next is the second short film, Letter to a Pig, a collaboration between France and Israel. In this film, an older man recounts to a bunch of school children a time during the Holocaust when he fled from these 2 soldiers or police or guards in a pigsty. This film isn't specific about who these 2 men chasing him are, nor is it clear this actually does take place during the Holocaust, but I was able to pick up on it, and also because that is what is in the film description. A giant pig in the sty was able to shield him from these 2 men, and he reads a letter to the children that he wrote to the pig, thanking it for saving his life. One schoolgirl is affected by his story, and then she kind of finds herself in the story, seeing the 2 guys chase the main guy in the woods. However, there seems to be some twists this time in the story, for example, how the pig is actually used, but I'm not going to reveal them just in case you want to see it for yourself. This short film reminds me of Schindler's List, not just because of the setting, but also because this short film was almost entirely in black and white with some small splashes of color, like the pigs themselves. If you've seen or at least know about Schindler's List, I think you probably know why I make this comparison. There is also some live action elements in this animated short film, like some of the eyes and hands of the people, and it's a bit unrecognizable at first because it blends in so well. I will say that without giving anything away, how this short film plays out, especially in its latter half, the twists in that latter half maybe don't make everything so clear. This could very well be a me thing, and so more power to you if you're able to pick it up better than I am. With all that said, this was for sure the first short film that made me feel something other than just a really cool or neat presentation. Definitely a departure from Our Uniform, that's for sure. The third short film has easily the one title that I couldn't pronounce. Pachyderme? I'm probably mispronouncing it, and so I apologize if I'm going to continue to do so. This one is also from France, but only from France this time. I don't have much to say about this one. It's about a little girl, Louise, who stays with her grandparents for a few days in the summer like she does every summer, but it kind of scares her. There's a bighorn from a pachyderme in the hallway to her bedroom, hence the name. the floorboards creak at night, and she sees animal eyes like on the ceiling when she tries to go to sleep. Then Louise and her grandfather go out fishing and swimming, and all that may sound nice, but to be honest, this one just doesn't do anything for me, and it's my least favorite of the 5 short films. I think there may be a darker underlying theme of something, like a wild animal or maybe even abuse. Again, this may just be a me thing, but I just don't pick up on that because I don't think that it's really all that present. The presentation is nice, that kind of reminds me of watercolors, and the summertime looks really nice and warm too. Like I said, I just don't have much to say about this one, so I'm just gonna move on to the final 2 short films, which actually are my 2 favorites. Now these last 2 are from the US, just like me, but I assure you that there is no tie-in as to why they are my favorites. Let's start with the 4th film, 95 Senses, directed by, no joke, Jared Hess and his wife, Jerusha Hess. Who is Jared Hess, you might ask, if that name doesn't sound familiar? He's the writer and director of Napoleon Dynamite and Nacho Libre, and now he is nominated for an Oscar for Best Animated Short Film. Good for him. But seriously, good for him, because this is an incredible short film. It's about Coy, an old man voiced by Tim Blake Nelson, yeah, that guy, who is recounting memories that he has with his 5 senses. Why is he doing this? Well, let's just say that he doesn't have a lot of time with them left. Not only does he have very detailed and vivid memories and description of his senses, but each of the 5 senses is actually animated by different people. Not only is that in and of itself very cool, but it's so seamless that when I read that in the credits, I just gained a whole new appreciation for this short film. This short film is funny, dazzling to look at, and also sad. I won't say how, because I definitely think that you should see this one. I really have to give a shout out and major props to the writers, Chris Bowman and Hubble Palmer, who have worked with Jared Hess before, which is kind of cool. Yeah, I so want to talk more about this one, but I don't want to give really anything away because I just encourage that you all see it. And what's great about this one, unlike the other short films that I've mentioned so far, is that you actually can see it. As of now, you can see it for free on Documentary Plus, and there's a link to that in the description. You don't have to sign up, so click on the link down below to check it out. It is definitely worth your time, and I hope that you enjoy it as much as I do. I'm talking so much about this one that it seems like it could be my favorite of the 5 films. However, I still haven't gotten to that one yet. My favorite is actually the next one, but 95 Senses is easily second for me. Not only do I like the next one more, but I think that 95 Senses actually could have ended maybe about 30 seconds shorter, and I think the whole short film would be the same. Not worse, but not better either, just the same. Who knows? You may like the extra bit at the end, and maybe I will too down the line. But for now, it's still a great and beautiful film, so go check it out. And now we arrive at the big one. Okay, maybe not the big one per se, but my favorite of the short films, War is Over, inspired by the music of John and Yoko. Now, being real, this is the short film that I was looking forward to the most. I mean, can you tell? But I must stress, while it is very easy to think that this is my favorite because of that, this is my favorite because this one moved me the most, and I'll get into why. First, let me say what this short film is about. 2 soldiers on opposing sides of a war are actually playing a game of chess with each other. Get it? A war game. However, since they are on other sides of the war and cannot actually play with each other in person, they play by writing down their moves and having them delivered by carrier pigeon. Kudos to the pigeon, by the way, that knows exactly where to go to deliver these constant chess moves over and over and still avoid the gunfire and the bombs going off. The players move their chess pieces accordingly, and slowly other soldiers join in to watch the game unfold. It gets very exciting for everyone until, you guessed it, a commanding officer finds the chess game, shuts it down, and orders them all to fight on the battlefield. Lo and behold, the 2 opposing soldiers who are playing chess with each other actually find each other on the battlefield, but since they're playing at a distance, they don't know that they actually are the chess partners. And that's as far as I'll go with the plot summary. I mean, you might have an idea of what happens if you look at the title, but still, that's all I'll say. There are more things that I want to say about this one, but some of them are spoilers, especially one particular shot at the end that just works so well. One thing that I can say about this short film without giving anything away is that this whole short film is told without any dialogue. Come to find out, there isn't even a cast list for this short film. Also, in the description for this short film is that this takes place in World War I. which I took note of because this whole short film reminds me of the famous football, or soccer, matches that would be played amongst the armed forces around Christmas time during World War I. In fact, John Lennon, the man whose music is the inspiration for this short film, his friend and fellow bandmate Paul McCartney recreated one such historical football match for his music video, Pipes of Peace. John Lennon's son, Sean Ono Lennon, is also credited as one of the story writers for this short film, along with the director, Dave Mullins, who has a ton of experience with Disney Pixar, including directing the Pixar short film, Lou. Yeah, as you may be able to tell, I can say so much about this short film. In fact, I already have. It's emotionally gripping, admittedly especially if you are familiar with John Lennon and his song that shares a similar title. So, if this is my favorite of the short films, as I said before, here's my personal ranking of all 5. 5, pachydermy, sorry. Pretty, but I just don't get anything from it. 4, Our Uniform. Nothing more of a story above its surface, but a very cool and unique presentation. 3, Letter to a Pig. Very striking animation and a haunting story. 2, 95 Senses. It makes you laugh, but also have a lot of empathy and sympathy. 1, War is Over. Wonderfully told with no dialogue and a message that we all can relate to and hope for. Now, you may be thinking that I am rooting for War is Over at the Oscars, which is true, but I will say that I will still be very happy if, say, 95 Senses or even Letter to a Pig takes home the award instead. I had a great time watching all of these different short films, even just getting to see them in the first place. If any of you guys have seen any of them, I'd love to hear what you have to say about them in the comments, and also which ones you'll be rooting for at the Oscars. Oh, and there were 2 bonus animated short films, Wild Summon and I'm Hip, that played after the 5 that were nominated, but I'm not going to talk about them because I wanted to focus on the main ones, and I'm sure this video is already long enough. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope that you enjoyed this video that's a bit different than what's on my channel. I'll see you guys in the next one, whenever that may be, and whatever it may be about. Thanks for watching. I'm Tom Marutia. Don't want to cough on you. Water break.